The African Union (AU) is a continental body consisting of 55 member states that make up the countries of the African continent. It was officially launched in 2002 as a successor to the Organization of African Unity (OAU), which was there in 1963 to 1999. In May 1968, 32 heads of independent African states met in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia to sign the charter, creating Africa's first post-independent continental institution, the Organization of African Unity (OAU). The OAU was the manifestation of Pan-African vision for an Africa that was united, free, and in control of its own destiny, and this was summarized in the OAU Charter, in which the founding father recognized that freedom, equity, justice, and dignity were essential objectives for the achievement of the legitimate aspirations of the African people, and that there was a need to promote understanding among Africa's people and foster cooperation among African states in response to the aspiration of Africans for brotherhood and solidarity in large unity, transcending ethnic and national differences. The guiding philosophy was that of Pan-Africanism, which centered on African socialism and promoted African unity. The communal characteristics and practices of African community, and a drive to embrace Africa's culture and common heritage. The main objectives of OAU were to rid the continent of the remaining vestiges of colonization and apartheid, to promote unity and solidarity among African states, to coordinate and intensify cooperation for development, so to safeguard the sovereignty and territorial integrity of member states, and to promote international cooperation. The OAU Charter spelled out the purpose of the organization, namely, to promote the unity and solidarity of the African states, to coordinate and intensify their cooperation and efforts to achieve a better life for people of Africa, to defend their sovereignty, their territorial integrity and independence, to eradicate all forms of colonialism from Africa, and to promote international cooperation having due regard to the Charter of the United Nations and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Through the OAU Coordinating Committee for the Liberation of Africa, the continent worked and spoke as one with undivided determination in forging an international consensus in support of the liberation struggle and the fight against apartheid. The OAU had provided an effective forum that enabled all member states to adopt coordinated positions on matters of common concern to the continent in international fora and defend the interests of Africa effectively. On 9th September 1999, the heads of states and the government of Organization of African Unity issued the Sirte Declaration, calling for the establishment of African Union with a view to accelerate the process of integration in the continent, to enable Africa to play its rightful role in global economy while addressing multifaceted social, economic, and political problems compounded as they were by certain negative aspects of globalization. The African Union was officially launched in July 2002 in Durban, South Africa, following the decision in September 1999 for its predecessor, the OAU, to create a new continental organization to build on its work. The decision to relaunch Pan-Africanism organization was the outcome of consensus by African leaders that in order to realize Africa's potential, there was a need of refocus attention from the fight for decolonization and ridding the continent of apartheid, with, which had been the focus for OAU towards increasing cooperation and integration of African states to provide Africa's growth and economic development. The AU is regarded by its vision of an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the global arena. The Constitutive Act of African Union and the Protocol on Amendments to Constitutive Act of African Union lay out the aims of OAU, which are achieve greater unity and solidarity between African countries and their people, defend the sovereignty, territorial integrity, and independence of its member states, accelerate the political and socio-economic integration of the continent, promote and defend African common position on issues of interest to the continent and its people, encourage international cooperation, promote peace, security, and stability on the continent, promote democratic principles and institutions, procure participation and good governance, promote and protect human and people's rights in accordance with African Charter on Human and People's Rights and other relevant human rights instruments. Establish the necessary conditions which enable the continent to play its rightful role in the global economy and in international negotiation. Promote sustainable development at the economic, social, and cultural level, as well as the integration of African economy. To promote cooperation in all fields of human activity to raise the living standard of African people. To coordinate and harmonize the policies between the existing and the future regional economic communities for the gradual attainment of the objectives of the Union. Advance the development of the continent by promoting research in all fields, in particular in science and technology. Work with relevant international partners in the eradication of preventable disease and the promotion of good health on the continent. To ensure the effective participation of women in decision making, particularly in political, economic, and social cultural areas, develop and promote common policies on trade, defense, and foreign relations to ensure the defense of the continent and the strengthening of its negotiating position. Invite and encourage the full participation of African diaspora as the important part of our continent in the building of African Union. The work of AU is implemented through several principal decision-making organs: the Assembly of Heads of States and Government, the Executive Council, the Permanent Representative Committee, specialized technical committees, the Peace and Security Council, and the African Union Commission. The AU structure promotes participation of African citizens and civil society through the Pan-African Parliament and the Economic, Social, and Cultural Council ECOSOCC. Organs that handle judicial and legal matters as well as human rights issues include African Commission on Human and People's Rights, African Court on Human and People's Rights, AU Commission on International Law, AU Advisory Board on Corruption, and the African Committee of Experts on Rights and Welfare of Children. The AU is also working towards the establishment of continental financial institutions, the African Central Bank, the African Investment Bank, and the African Monetary Fund. The regional economic communities and the African peer review mechanism are also key bodies that constitute the structure of African Union to ensure the realization of its objective and the attainment of the Pan-African vision of an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa. Agenda 2063 was developed as a strategic framework for Africa's long-term social, economic, and integrative transformation. Agenda 2063 calls for greater collaboration and support for African-led initiatives to ensure the achievement of the aspirations of African people. The African Union is a continental union consisting of 55 member states located in the continent of Africa. The AU was announced in the Sirte Declaration in Sirte, Libya on 9 September 1999, calling the establishment of African Union. The bloc was founded on 26 May 2001 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and launched on 9 July 2002 in Durban, South Africa. The intention of AU was to replace the Organization of African Unity, OAU, established on 25 May 1963 in Addis Ababa by 32 signatory governments. The OAU was disbanded on 9 July 2002. The most important decisions of AU are made by the Assembly of African Union, a semi-annual meeting of heads of states and government of its member states. The AU's secretariat, the African Union Commission, is based in Addis Ababa. The largest city in the AU is Lagos, Nigeria, while the largest urban agglomeration is Cairo, Egypt. The African Union has more than 1.3 billion people and an area of around 30 million square kilometers, and includes world landmarks such as Sahara and the Nile. The primary working languages are Arabic, English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, and Swahili. Within African Union, there are official bodies such as Peace and Security Council and the Pan-African Parliament. The African Union is made up of both political and administrative bodies. The highest decision-making organ is the Assembly of African Union, made up of all heads of states or government of member states of AU. The AU also has the representative body, the Pan-African Parliament, which consists of 265 members elected by the national legislature of the AU member states. Other political institutions of AU include Executive Council, made up of foreign ministers, which prepares decisions for the Assembly, the Permanent Representative Committee, made up of ambassadors to Addis Ababa of AU member states, and Economic, Social and Culture Council, a civil society conservative body. The African Commission on Human and People's Rights is based in Banjul, the Gambia, and the New Partnership for African Development, NEPAD, and APRM secretariats and the Pan-African Parliament are in Midland, South Africa. The AU's first military intervention in a member state was the May 2003 deployment of peacekeeping force of soldiers from South Africa, Ethiopia, and Mozambique to Burundi to oversee the implementation of various agreements. AU troops were also deployed in the Sudan for peacekeeping during the Darfur conflict, before the mission was handed over to United Nations on 1st January 2008 via UNAMID. The AU has also sent a peacekeeping mission to Somalia consisting of troops from Uganda and Burundi. The AU has adopted a number of important documents establishing norms at continental level to supplement those already in force when it was created. These include the African Union Convention on the Prevention and Combat Corruption 2003, the African Charter on Democracy, Election and Government 2007, the New Partnership for African Development, the NEPAD, and its associated Declaration on Democracy, Political economic, and corporate governance. Member states of African Union cover almost the entirety of the continental Africa except for several territories held by Spain, Ceuta, Melilla, and Penedovelle Dora Gomera. In addition, European countries have dependence among the offshore islands of Africa: Spain, the Canary Islands, and the islands of Pazzado, Soberania, France, Mayotte, Réunion, and the scattered islands in the Indian Ocean, Portugal, the Azores, Madeira, and the Savage Island, and the United Kingdom, St. Helena, Ascension, and Tristan da Cunha. The geography of African Union is widely diverse, including the world's largest hot desert, the Sahara, huge jungle and savannas, and the world's longest river, the Nile. The AU has an area of around 30 million square kilometers with 24,165 kilometers of coastline. The vast majority of this line is on continental Africa, while the only significant territory off the mainland are the island of Madagascar, the world's largest microcontinental and fourth largest island, and the Sinai Peninsula, geographically a part of Asia, according for a slightly less than 2% of the total area. The official languages of African Union are Arabic, English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, and Swahili, and any other African language. The primary working languages of African Union are English and French. To a lesser extent, Portuguese and Arabic are used. The Constitutive Act, for example, is written in English, French, and Arabic, while protocol amending the Constitutive Acts is written in English, French, and Portuguese. As of 2020, the AU website is available in its entirety in English, partially in French, and minimally in Arabic. Portuguese and Swahili versions were added as a coming soon in April 2019. Founded in 2001 under auspice of AU, the African Academy of Language promotes the usage and perpetuation of African languages among African people. In 2004, Joaquim Chissano of Mozambique addressed the assembly in Swahili but had to translate his words himself. The AU declared 2006 the Year of African Language. 2006 also marked Ghana's 55th anniversary since its founded. The Bureau of Ghana Language, originally known as Gold Coast Vernacular Literature Bureau. All UN member states based in Africa and on African islands are members of AU, as is the partially recognized state of Swahili Arabic Democratic Republic (SADL). Morocco, which claimed sovereignty over the Western Sahara, withdrew from Organization of African Unity in 1984 due to admission of SADL as a member. On 30th January 2017, the AU readmitted Morocco as a member state. Somaliland's 2005 application to join the African Union is still pending. Mali was suspended from African Union on 19th August 2020 following a military coup. On 9th October of the same year, the Peace and Council Security of African Union lifted the suspension imposed on Mali, citing progress made to return to democracy. The country was again suspended on 1st June 2021 following its second military coup within 9 months. Guinea's membership was also suspended by African Union on 10 September 2010 after a military coup deposed to African's President Alpha Conde. Exposed to country's President Alpha Conde. Sudanese membership was suspended by African Union on 27 October 2021 after a military coup deposed to civilian government led by Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok. Burkina Faso's membership was suspended by the African Union in aftermath of a military coup on 31st January 2022. Members include Algeria, Angola, Benin, Botswana, Burkina Faso suspended, Burundi, Cameroon, Cape Verde, Central African Republic, Chad, Comoros, DRC Congo, Republic of Congo, DRC Congo, Djibouti, Egypt, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Eswatini, Ethiopia, Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea suspended, Guinea-Bissau, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Lesotho, Liberia, Libya, Madagascar, Malawi, Mali suspended, Mauritania, Mauritius, Morocco, Mozambique, Namibia, Niger, Nigeria, Rwanda, Saharawi, Arab Democratic Republic, Soweto, Sao Tome and Principe, Senegal, Seychelles, Sierra Leone, Somalia, South Africa, South Sudan, Sudan suspended, Tanzania, Togo, Tunisia, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Observers include Haiti, Israel, Kazakhstan, Latvia, Mexico, Palestine, Serbia, Turkey, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates. In 2006, the AU decided to create a committee to consider the implementation of a rotational system between the regions. In relation to the presidency controversy arose at 2006 summit when Sudan announced its candidacy for the AU's chairmanship. As a representative of East African region, several member states refused to support Sudan because of tensions over Darfur. Sudan ultimately withdrew its candidacy and President Denis Sassou Nguesso of Republic of Congo was elected to a one-year term. List of AU chairperson. At the beginning, 2002-2003 was Mbeki from South Africa. 2003-2004, Joaquim Chissano from Mozambique. 2004-2006, Olusegun Obasanjo from Nigeria. 2006-2007, Denis Sassou Nguesso from Republic of Congo. 2007-2008, John Kufuru from Ghana. 2008-2009, Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete from Tanzania. 2009-2010, Muammar Gaddafi from Libya. 2010-2011, Bingwa Mutharika from Malawi. 2011-2012, Theodore Obiang Nguema Basogo from Equatorial Guinea. 2012-2013, Yaini Boni from Benin. 2013-2014, Helia Mairam Desalegn from Ethiopia. 2014-2015, Mohamed Abdelaziz from Mauritania. 2015-2016, Robert Gabriel Mugabe from Zimbabwe. 2016-2017, Idriss Deby from Chad. 2017-2018, Alpha Conde from Guinea. 2018-2019, Paul Kagame from Kigali, Rwanda. 2019-2020, Egypt, Abdallah Fattah el-Sisi. 2020-2021, Cyril Ramaphosa from South Africa. 2021-2022, Felix Tshisekedi from DRC Congo. 2022-2023, Macky Sall from Senegal. From February 2023, President of Comoros Azali Assoumani from Comoros. The main administrative capital of African Union is in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, where the African Union Commission is headquartered. A new headquarter complex, the AU Conference Center and Office Complex AUCC, was inaugurated on 28 January 2012 during the 18th AU Summit. The complex was built by China State Construction Engineering Corporation as a gift from the Chinese government and accommodates, among other facilities, a 2,050 plenary hall and a 20-story office tower. The tower is 99.9 meters high to signify the date 9 September 1999 when the Organization of African Union votes to become the AU. The building cost 200 million USD to construct. On 27 January 2018, 5 years after the completion of the building of AU headquarters, the French paper Le Monde published an article stating that the Chinese government had heavily bugged the building, installing listening devices in the walls and furniture, and set up the computer system to copy data to servers in Shanghai daily. The Chinese government denied that they bugged the building, stating that the accusations were uttered groundless and ridiculous. Ethiopian Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn rejected the French media report. Musa Faki Mahamat, head of the African Union Commission, said the allegations in the Ramon's report were false. They are totally false allegations, and I believe that we are completely disregarded them. The African Union replaced its Chinese supply server and started encrypting its communication system. Following the event. Thank you for watching our video. Today we are focused about African Union. Its motto, a united and strong Africa. Its anthem, let's all unite and celebrate together. Of AU political centers, Addis Ababa and Johannesburg, largest urban Cairo and Lagos. Official languages, Arabic, English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, Swahili, and any other African language. Demonym African. Type Continental Union. With 55 member states and 9 observer states. Chairperson Azali Assoumani. Commission Chairperson Musa Faki Mahamat. Parliamentary President Fortune Charumbira. Legislature Pan-African Parliament. Established OAU Charter 25th May 1963. Abuja Treaty 3rd June 1991. Sirte Declaration 9 September 1999. African Union Foundation 9 July 2002. Admission of South Sudan 9 July 2011. Admission of Morocco 31st January 2017. African Continental Free Trade Area 1st January 2021. Thank you very much for being with us, and see you in other upcoming videos. Bye.